Welcome to Love from the Hip. I'm spiritual hypnotherapist, master esthetician, and your host, Sakura Sutter. This show is created with the intention of helping others to help and love themselves. Aside from weekly skin tips, you will hear me spotlight amazing souls from around the world who are making a difference by helping others in their own unique way. You may also hear me follow up with a guest I've hypnotized on an online edition of Love from the Hip, which is available on YouTube. Together we can all make a difference, and it begins with love. Love from the Hip. The term consciousness has long been an infamously ambiguous concept tied to one's ability to know and perceive. Through consciousness, one can have knowledge of the external world or one's own mental states. The primary function of consciousness is to be aligned with time and place while being aware of self so that we can survive, interact, and live. According to 20th century American philosopher Ned Block, there are two types of consciousness: phenomenal consciousness and access consciousness. Phenomenal consciousness results from sensory experiences such as smelling, hearing, tasting, and having pains. An example of phenomenal consciousness, Block says, is how one experiences the color red versus the color green. Whereas access consciousness is used for reasoning and conscious control of action and speech. Examples of access consciousness are thoughts, beliefs, and desires. Block does believe that access consciousness and phenomenal consciousness can interact. However, it is possible to have access consciousness without phenomenal consciousness. One example described by Block is a loud noise that you do not consciously notice because you are paying attention to something else. Block says you are aware of the noise by way of phenomenal consciousness, but just not consciously aware, which is access consciousness. Scientists would say, although you were not consciously aware of the noise, portions of your unconscious brain activity still responded to the noise. This would then suggest that Block's phenomenal consciousness includes brain activity that others would categorize as being unconscious. And some unconscious brain activity can actually contribute to consciousness when the focus of one's conscious awareness shifts. Block has most definitely defined a category of consciousness that is outside of our conscious awareness. Still, others argue that consciousness is an illusion or doesn't exist. American philosopher Daniel Dennett believes our own consciousness isn't as marvelous as we think it is, and says consciousness is the brain's user illusion of itself, essentially saying that it is no more real than the screen on your laptop or your phone. Dennett also says that human cells are not conscious, and instead are little robotic cells that don't know who we are, nor do they care. He postulates that human consciousness and free will are purely the result of physical processes. Dennett's belief not only contradicts that of Block's, but also that of Descartes. He squashes his theory of dualism and his belief that consciousness exists outside of the body even after the physical body dies. Dennett's theory also contradicts that of American biologist Dr. Bruce Lipton, who identifies our 50 trillion cells in our bodies as living, conscious individuals, and that our identity is not inside our body, but rather it is derived from our environment. So by changing our environment, Lipton believes we can essentially reprogram our DNA. Lipton proves this theory in many ways, but one way in which he does is through a true story about a little girl who received a heart transplant. Lipton says that after the little girl had received her heart, she began having vivid nightmares of being murdered. The doctors had deep concern, and so they investigated where this heart came from. It turns out that the heart came from another girl who was murdered, and the girl who received the transplant was actually able to help police arrest the killer. This was possible because, as Lipton explains, the heart was downloading the murdered girl's identity, proving we are not in our bodies, proving that we are consciousness. According to Lipton, it's consciousness that creates the world, and because we are all conscious, together our consciousness can change the world. If Dennett is right and consciousness is an illusion, then it would seem we would all be machines living a human experience rather than spiritual beings living a human experience. Also, if this were true, we would be victims of our own experiences instead of creators. Consciousness is ever present in all living organisms, from bacteria to humans, and the seed of your identity exists in consciousness. At the same time, collectively, it makes us all one. In the words of Annie Besant, there is no life without consciousness. There is no consciousness without life. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing Scott Collins. He is a naturopath sensate. where natural medicine meets consciousness. He will share his journey and talk about consciousness. Plus, later on the show, we will open up the phone lines to you. So if you are suffering from an ailment or pain and want to find out what the root cause may be spiritually, mentally, or emotionally, then you'll want to call in. So stick around after this quick break.
Is your tween starting to experience a change in their skin? Want to get them on an easy at-home routine and have good skin hygiene? Allow Sakura Skin in Mind to help your tween out. This brief, deep cleansing and educational 35-minute facial is just enough to get your tween, ages 10 to 12 years old, started off in the right direction. Sakura Skin in Mind uses the latest in the clinical skincare industry to care for your tween the right way for just $65. Sakura Skin in Mind, treating skin out there with an ounce of treatment and a pound of protection. Call 206-730-7429 or go to sakuraskininmind.com.
You found us. Maybe you've been guided to listen. Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back to Love from the Hip. I'm spiritual hypnotherapist, master esthetician, and your host, Sakura Sutter. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and to subscribe and to share my YouTube channel and podcast on Podcast One, Love from the Hip, and that's HYP. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing Scott Collins. He is a naturopath sensate, where natural medicine meets consciousness. Hey, Scott, thanks for being here today.
Hey, I love to be on your show. You guys are amazing. This is an incredible show. I've listened to quite a few of your podcasts.
Oh, well, thank you very much. And so you're in the future now, right? Where are you joining us from?
I'm in Australia, and it's Thursday morning for me. So, yes, I am in the future.
Oh, well, thank you for joining us bright and early. So
No problem.
I want to ask you if you think consciousness exists.
Like I've pondered this myself long and hard. It's been a search my entire life to understanding more of what it is. What are we in? What is this, the matrix, or what are we actually doing? And the more that I do the research, the more that I go on this journey, I'm going to say yes. I think it is a conscious life that we're leading, and then whether we're physical, whether we're real, whether we're an illusion, I don't know. But there's so much more going on that I can't explain, that I can only kind of summarize with it's consciousness as an overriding arching term for what this experience is.
Okay. So would you define consciousness then as the unexplainable?
I would say yes, and I would say no. It's like it sits within physical realms, and it sits within places where, like the work that I do, it says things happen and magic happens that I can't explain.
So that brings me to my next question. How does consciousness play a role in the world of health and healing?
I've been a naturopath for over 12 years, and I'm going to answer it this way. That I started to see that some medicines would work for some clients, wouldn't work for other clients. And there was just, like I had really good success using particular protocols and products. And then some clients would absolutely just, nothing would happen no matter what I threw at it. And until we started having conversations that explored other avenues, such as consciousness, what's within the body, what's being held in the mind, what's the story that's being told by my patient in their journey of life. And that's when things started to get more interesting, and we started to see people shifting through their experiences just by opening up into allowing other possibilities of healing and other ideas of the world, rather than just this fixed construct of what had to be and the way it should work. And that's kind of where I started to see people moving through different areas of healing. People who had back injuries that were starting to free up their back because they were starting to explore what their back represented as a metaphor in their life.
And that it wasn't just associated with old age.
Yeah, or they sat at an office chair too long the wrong way.
Right. Okay.
Or started the lawnmower incorrectly.
And so did you find then, when you were tapping into your client's consciousness, or when they were tapping into their own consciousness, that the healing was more rapid?
Again, it's still subjective. Some people did a really great job and got good results. And then some people just were resistant regardless. There was a part of them that just did not want to go there. Mm-hmm. There was something within them that just was creating this sabotage or block. And I can't tell you what they were going through, but there was definitely some resistance. This is back in the early days when I really started to become aware of this.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So when did you start studying consciousness?
I got serious about and back in 2008, 2009, somewhere around there, where I met a teacher, and I went to study with her, and I ended up living in Malta with her for 6 months. I was pretty much studying from 8 a.m. till 11 p.m. daily.
Wow.
Monday to Friday for an extended period. My entire life was immersed into this conscious program, conscious living.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it was, you might as well say that it was an intensified program designed to break through patterns, to break through all kinds of stuff that I'd call it my emotional story, my games that I was playing in my mind.
Uh-huh. Right.
And I remember she played a game with me one day, and she said to me, Scott, what I want you to do, I want you to head out into the world. And what I want you to do is I want you to trust your intuition for every choice and every decision. And the craziest thing happened. I ended up in a dress shop, in this little dress shop. I'm a 6'2" male, and I'm in this dress shop with the Maltese ladies who were working there, probably 5'5", 5'4". I'm taller, is what I'm getting at. And the shop's small, and my consciousness held me in there for half an hour. And these people said, "Can I help you? Can I help you? Can I help you?" It's like, it's getting awkward now. It's really uncomfortable. And by the time we hit 35 minutes, this lady walked in on a phone call, and she was speaking English, and she wasn't Maltese. She was from Canada or somewhere like this. And I needed to hear that conversation. Huh. And that conversation opened my world up to an immense array of experiences that I cannot explain, that just by waiting and trusting in that moment, I was able to connect to a whole new world of experiences in Malta. And that's when things really started getting interesting. This is what the training was about, was opening into trusting and really becoming aligned with your consciousness and listening and getting to know self, above the noise.
All right. So the consciousness essentially allowed more flow into your life too.
Totally. Yeah. It's how I've created businesses. It's how I've designed brands and product names and all sorts of things.
Okay. Well, I want to jump back into that, but we're going to have to take a quick break. But remember, everyone, this is a live show, and if you are experiencing any pain or ailment right now and want Scott to give you a quick energy reading, then call 1-888-298-KKNW or 425-373-5527 after this quick break.
Post-traumatic stress syndrome affects people from all walks of life, triggered by sexual assault, traffic, collisions, warfare, or other threats to life. PTSD is a killer. Every day, an average of 22 veterans commit suicide due in part to PTSD. Retired U.S. Colonel Debbie Simpson struggled with her own PTSD, following a military career specializing in critical care. Debbie turned to dancing as a way to heal unresolved grief, guilt, and shame caused by the losses of war. The benefits were so great that she founded the nonprofit Battlefield to Ballroom, a unique approach to assisting other brave warriors. Battlefield to Ballroom has partnered with famed dance company Arthur Murray International to help veterans in need. If you or someone you know can benefit, log on now to battlefieldtoballroom.org. That's Battlefield, the number 2, ballroom.org. Life is a dance, and you can give the gift of the first steps towards recovery. Donate at battlefieldtoballroom.org today.
Peach fuzz is great if it's on a peach. Let Sakura Skin and Mind remove unsightly hair with dermaplaning. Although its primary purpose is to remove layers of dead skin, it's just one of the added benefits, leaving your skin baby smooth, safe, effective, fast, and affordable. What a concept! Sakura Skin and Mind wants you to look your very best, and dermaplaning is just one tool in their chest. Find out about dermaplaning at sakuraskinandmind.com. SAKURA, skinandmind.com. We bring out the healthy skin and healthy way of thinking you didn't know you had.
At Madsen Medical Spa, our goal is a healthy, beautiful you. We're a full-service medical spa, but our focus is educating people on maintaining health and wellness. We're excited to announce a new addition to our menu, Nootropic Popular Beverage. This magical drink formulation alleviates unnecessary snacking while keeping you focused and alert throughout your day. It satisfies your hunger, renews your energy, enhances your mood, diminishes aches and pains. Essentially, it makes you happy. And who doesn't want to be happy? Patients have already been raving about Nootropic Popular Beverage. They've elevated their mood while losing inches in the process. It's safe, natural, fast, and effective. Drink happy, feel happy. Nootropic Popular Beverage, happiness in a cup. Available at happytoelevate.com. That's HAPPYTOELEVATE.com. Or call 206-234-9188. Warning, you may feel happy.
Your skin is your body's largest organ. Care for it properly, starting with your face. Sakura Skin and Mind offers several clinical facial treatments to help stimulate collagen production, eliminate toxins, boost circulation, and deeply cleanse. See a new you in your mirror. Clinical facials range from $90 and up. Do your face a favor. Sakura Skin and Mind, erasing wrinkles one clinical facial at a time. Learn more, sakuraskinandmind.com. SAKURA skinandmind.com.
Talk radio for the heart and soul. Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back to Love from the Hip. I'm spiritual hypnotherapist, master esthetician, and your host, Sakura Sutter. And don't forget to tune in right here on KKNW every Wednesday at 2 to 3 p.m. for more Love from the Hip. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing Scott Collins. He is a naturopath sensate, where natural medicine meets consciousness. And if you are experiencing a pain or ailment right now and want Scott to give you a quick energy reading, then feel free to call 1-888-298-KKNW or 425-373-5527. So, Scott, before the break, you were talking about how you studied in Malta. You studied consciousness in Malta. And I feel you have a jellyfish story to share?
Yeah, I do. I love the ocean so much that I live near the ocean and I swim nearly every single day. And I love the waves. In the Mediterranean, where Malta's situation is flat, it's kind of, there's nothing happening. It's like in a warm bath. It's not interesting. It's kind of boring.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. It's one of the most spectacular, beautiful parts of the world. But this one day, I was with my teacher, and we're near the sea, and the waves were up, and I got so excited. It was crazy. I was just like, I'm about to run to the waves. She grabs me by the shoulder and stops me. And I'm going, what are you doing? And she goes, we're going to do a process right now. We're going to do a clearing. And I go, you're kidding me. She goes, no. So 45 minutes passes and I'm looking over my shoulder, wondering if the waves are still there. And she goes, we're done. And I go, great. And I just run as fast as I can to the waves and like a little kid heading to the ocean. I was so excited. And I'm catching wave after wave after wave. And then I hopped out of the ocean, out of the sea, and I'm done. I'm going, oh, that was amazing. But what I did notice is when I hopped out of the sea, I was surrounded by a swarm of jellyfish. Now, these jellyfish, I'm talking, they're probably the size of a bowling ball. And they have barbed tentacles with hooks on them.
Oh, boy.
And I am literally surrounded. And I walk out of the ocean unscathed, untouched.
Wow.
So that to me was an experience I can't explain, except for the fact that a few minutes prior, my teacher held me and did something for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well,
and that's part of the conscious mystery that, you know, have these energies and things happen, good, bad, you know, it's like, I couldn't explain it. It was amazing.
Huh. All right. Well, thanks for sharing that. So we do have a caller. We've got Renee on the line from Seattle. Renee, are you there?
I'm here.
Hi, Renee. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
What is your question for Scott?
Well, I'm wondering if he can pick up anything on some chronic pain I've had in some muscles.
Okay. Scott, did you hear that?
The first thing, I heard the question, yeah. Hi, Renee.
Hi.
The first thing that I'm really picking up on is your lower back. Is like it's starting to really, around your spinal area is the first thing that I'm sensing in your body. I'm just moving through your body, scanning through quickly. I'm also feeling your left knee is tender and sore for me as well. So I'm just doing, what happens, you may be ringing me for a question, but I'm actually prioritizing where things are turning up in my experience. So okay. What's happening for me, I'm getting immediately your lower back, your knee. I'm also getting through the side of your neck. There's a muscle called the sternocleidomastoid, which runs down the side of your neck. It's down the right side, running down through your shoulder. That's quite painful as well. So I'm feeling your body, and I feel like that you're really holding a lot of tension through your body, through your emotional body, that you haven't really released a lot of old stuff. Because I'm also picking up that your heart space is aching. There's a lot of old pain in your heart. Are you moving your body, or is the injury causing you not?
No, I move a lot, more so lately because I'm taking care of my mom.
Okay. Are you seeing a physiotherapist or some sort of person who can help with flexibility? Because I feel like there's still some stiffness within you. Or
I do a lot of stretching that they gave me. I went to a physical therapist, and
Awesome.
it seems to be affected by humidity.
Cool. Well, not cool. I'm just saying yes.
Yeah.
I really feel like that your electrolyte balance could be off too. So are you seeing a nutritionist or someone who can advise you on how to really get your electrolytes back in the balance, which is your minerals, your water?
Oh, okay. I've been using some mineral salt, but not very much. You think that would help?
Yeah, I feel like you're really dehydrated and your minerals are off.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very possible.
Also feel like you haven't really expressed yourself in this world either. I really feel like that you really haven't stepped into your full expression of who you are. Your creative expression of song, dance, writing, some form of expression where you can really get out of your body what's been in there for a long time.
Oh, okay. This all makes sense.
Let me ask you this. What do you do for joy?
What do I do for joy? I spend time around water, and I love to read and,
Great.
Spend time with my family, nieces and nephews.
The reason I asked that question is I feel like you like dancing.
Dancing. Isn't that funny? I used to do aerobic type dancing, but maybe that's what's coming up.
Yeah, I feel like that if you get back, you really loved it, but I think you really enjoyed it. Putting that kind of, not just personal reading but movement to music is a fantastic way for moving energy out of your body through dance, through expression. I do something in Australia here called a static dance, which is just like a free expression kind of, you look like a jellyfish to music kind of dance.
Oh, that's the best kind.
It is. But that would be my advice: to see your physio, talk to your nutritionist or someone about getting a real mineral story going, and also increase your green foods. If you're not eating enough produce, really fresh organic produce, I would suggest that would be a fantastic space for you to be into, to really watch your nutrition.
Okay, I do eat a lot of green foods. That's one thing I'm good at.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And I feel like your sleep's off as well.
My sleep is off?
It's not a deep quality sleep. It's like your body's tired.
Well, it probably, it probably is. Well, this has been very helpful.
All right.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Renee. Thanks for calling in.
Bye-bye.
All right. So, Scott, essentially because you're in consciousness, right, are you then holding space for your clients to release as you did just now for Renee?
Yeah, I like to think of it as that when we come into awareness, we can release. It's like once it's been identified, we no longer have to. Our body can't hold the story that's keeping us trapped.
Mm-hmm. So at the same time, can I ask you then, because you were talking about the jellyfish story and things that are unexplainable, but however, there is a flow to it, right? When you're in consciousness, there's a flow.
Yeah, it's kind of like being in the stream versus going up against the stream.
Mm-hmm.
There's been so much magic that's happened in my life just through simply saying yes to things out of flow instead of fear or judgment.
Mm-hmm. And then on the other side of it, though, what happens when you're saying no or there's friction?
You may say yes when there's friction and it doesn't work out, or you've already second-guessed your innate self. You said, I knew that. I should have said no. And the whole purpose of understanding consciousness, so we have a relationship with self versus non-self. So the parts of ourselves which are ego-based or fear-based or shame, guilt-based versus this beautiful part of ourselves which just knows how to say yes and flow. And I work with clients to show them actually how to feel. I call it a point of reference. What does it feel like to be you? What's that state that you can call back upon to know, okay, I'm out of sync right now. What do I need to come back into sync? Like before the show today, I was sitting here just doing breathing. I was just doing gentle breathing so that to bring my full presence into my body so I can sit here with you guys and connect. And the way my body works is I can feel Renee from where I can feel anybody in the world when I just sit here and be present.
Okay. So how else would you recommend others be in flow consciousness?
I asked Renee a very specific question about joy, the joy experience in her life. One of the first things that I really work with clients on is coming back into that creative essence of self. What is it that brings you creative joy? You don't have to be an artist, a poet, or a musician. Creative could be building sandcastles, cooking in the kitchen. One of my projects is I design health products. That to me is creative expression.
Right.
So where are you denying joy? And a lot of people forget that when they were kids, they used to do a lot of really great things that were awesome for bringing joy. Like for me as a kid, I was a master Lego builder. I loved my Legos. It was amazing what I'd make. And that was one of my creative outlets. And I'm not sure if you had it in the States, the Meccano sets, the mechanical, building block thing. I can't remember what it is, all the mechanical bits. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I've got a science brain now, not a mechanical brain, but anyway.
Yeah. So how long have you been a naturopath again? 12 years, you said?
12 years, yeah. I went back as a mature age student. I was sick. I was diagnosed with gastroesophageal reflux disease. And I was only in my late 20s, like 27. And I was being medicated by a doctor for the condition with what's called proton pump inhibitor medications. And it started my exploration of other alternatives. And no one had ever talked to me about diet. No one had ever talked to me about what I was putting into my body. And I was eating atrociously. My diet, I'm gonna use an acronym here. I call Peter, I can't even say it. Pizza, pasta, and piss in Australia means alcohol. Okay. And I call it the 3 Ps. My diet was atrocious. I was drinking scotch, eating pizza, eating pasta, very little produce, very little water, and I was 20 kilos overweight. I'm not sure what that equates to in pounds. I'm sorry.
Don't ask me.
But I had a nice stomach, and what they call it, muffin top, I think you call it. But no one had talked to me how that was actually impacting my condition. So it started me exploring it, to eventually ended up in a health food shop where I started shopping organically. Then a naturopath there started treating me. She started working with me. And then I said to my partner at the time, I said, I'm really not happy with my life. And she goes, why don't you go and study naturopathy? And it was just like this light bulb moment that went on that completely changed my life. So I was 32 when I left my corporate job. I threw it all away, sold my house, sold everything to go back to study. And it took me 7 years to get my degree. And I was committed and determined to do it. But it was also the single most important catalyst for me in coming into meditation, mindfulness, and spirituality, and which then led into consciousness.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to touch back on that, but we're going to have to take another break. So remember, this is a live show, and if you are experiencing a pain or ailment right now and want Scott to give you more insight, then call 1-888-298-KKNW or 425-373-5527 after this quick break. On this weekly Skinny, I would like to talk about barnacles. What are they? Also called seborrheic keratoses, which is a common skin growth. It can indeed look like a wart, precancerous growth, or skin cancer, but are indeed non-cancerous. Seborrheic keratoses often appear in middle-aged or older adults. Although it is possible to only have one of these growths, most people have several. They can have a warty raised surface or appear like dabs of warm brown candle wax on the skin. They do also range in color from white to black to tan and brown. They can pop up almost anywhere except on the palms and soles. They are most common on the scalp, chest, back, stomach, and neck. They are also not contagious nor painful, but can itch. The exact cause of them is not known, but they are said to be linked to sunlight, genetics, and age. They tend to increase in number as we age. In fact, 30% of people will have at least one by the age of 40, and 75% of people at age 70 will get them. Although seborrheic keratoses are harmless, they can be physically bothersome sometimes based on their location, but mostly they can be just aesthetically displeasing. It is important, however, not to pick them. If you are bothered by your seborrheic keratoses, there are several methods available to remove them. These include cryotherapy, laser ablation, burning with an electric current or radio frequency device, and skin scraping. Other alternative treatments can include chemical peels and even the use of a bioavailable vitamin A to help to diminish the appearance of them as well. Because seborrheic keratoses closely resemble skin cancer, it is imperative to go to the doctor if the following develops. A large number of growths grow in a short amount of time. Borders of the growths are irregular. Growths are irritated by clothes and bleed regularly, and growths are an unusual color like purple, reddish black, or blue. Researchers from Massachusetts General Hospital and Harvard Medical School in Boston analyzed biopsies from 9,204 people diagnosed with seborrheic keratosis. Out of those 9,204 people, only 61 cases actually had melanoma. Still, dermatologists claim that seborrheic keratosis is unlikely to indicate cancer, but instead, it's just more of a nuisance.
Did you know that your skin is your body's first defense against disease and infection? Briotech knows and has developed their topical skin spray to enhance your skin's natural healing responses and defenses. Briotech is all about providing its customers products that help promote skin wellness. Briotech topical skin spray is a light misting spray free of added fragrance, oil, alcohol, and parabens. All this protection without clogging your pores. It's a must addition to your all-around daily skincare regimen. Try Briotech, a collection of sprayers from 2 ounces to 8 ounces. With this bundle, you can have Briotech topical skin spray wherever life takes you. All natural and safe to use from head to toe. Irritations, redness, post-procedure sensitivities? Get Briotech topical skin spray today. Years in the making, doctor recommended, and available through Amazon. Learn more at briotechusa.com. That's BRIOTECHUSA.com. Support your skin at briotechusa.com.
Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back to Love from the Hip. I'm spiritual hypnotherapist, master esthetician, and your host, Sakura Sutter. And feel free to email me at sakura@lovefromthehip.com with your comments, your criticisms, your questions, and well wishes. Let me know how I am doing. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing Scott Collins. He is a naturopath sensate where natural medicine meets consciousness. And if you are experiencing a pain or ailment right now and want Scott to give you a quick energy reading, then feel free to call 1-888-298-KKNW or 425-373-5527. So, Scott, I have to ask you, did you heal your reflux through being a naturopath?
I did.
And so what was the spiritual reason, you think, for that reflux to show up?
It was really a deep hatred of self. It was pretty interesting to find out how much I was making my existence wrong for being me. And then all of the nuances and intricacies which make the uniqueness of myself were playing out as, why am I the square peg in the round hole, rather than celebrating the beauty of my gifts and the beauty of who I am.
Wow.
And I was choosing behaviors that were simply masking the pain behind the story. And the alcohol, the pizza, the kind of foods that I was eating was simply carbohydrates that were giving the nervous system what it needed to function, but didn't really, they were foods that were just stimulants rather than actual me going into who I really am. And I've spent the better part of the last 15 years exploring that at depth, and to know that a lot of my choices were based around pain and hurt, suffering, childhood story, a lot of different things, which were elements in those choices.
Okay. So what are some questions you think we need to ask ourselves when things like this show up, like pain or disease?
Where am I lying to myself? Like, it's like, what can I do to actually bring joy into my life? Because a lot of what we're doing is we think we're doing life, but we're actually not true connecting to the heart essence. Like when I was talking to Renee before about the dance, I saw the dance, felt the dance. And I was working with a gentleman last night who's from Africa. And we got talking, and then all of a sudden I saw this tribal dance. And it's a bit stereotypical, but that was his culture, his origin. I said, when's the last time you actually connected? So what these things mean is that we end up getting caught in the story of our life, and we do things to appease. Like I spent half my life trying to get my father's approval, trying to be daddy's winner. Mm-hmm. So I ended up in business and doing all these business things, but really there was nothing interesting about what I was doing. I was just making a buck. Mm-hmm. And that one friend of mine, that ex-partner of mine, said to me, Scott, go and study naturopathy. That was in a moment like I'd won the lottery. It was the fireworks going off. It was this amazing opportunity to go, what, I can actually have what I want. I can actually go and do this. You mean she gave me permission. And I think a lot of what we're doing is disease is pent up emotion. It's forgetting who we are, forgetting what brings us joy.
Right.
And also nurturing and loving the body with the right diet, the right nutrition, giving it exercise, giving it things that it really wants to feel and experience. I had a job once where I sat at a computer desk, and I really had to leave because I just wasn't fulfilling my soul anymore, because it simply wasn't where I needed to be. I needed to be in a job where I could have flexibility, where I could go to the beach in my lunch break, where I could walk, I could turn up when I needed to turn up. So, self-employment was the only way for me to really be true to and honor myself.
Yeah.
And I'm not suggesting that everybody needs to do that. I'm saying it's following your heart and finding your truth within that. It's part of the healing process. It's part of the self-discovery that, naturopathy just gave me some more tools, gave me ideas about digestion, it gave me ideas about my nervous system and stress, and then consciousness gave me a way to actually find peace with me.
That's wonderful. Well, hey, Scott, do you want to work on Eric, the producer?
Sure.
All right.
Sir Eric.
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, how are you?
I hope he's here. Jeez.
Doing pretty well.
Yeah, is that the question? Are you here? Are you really here?
Wow, that's deep, Scott.
When I was feeling Eric, I really felt like that Eric is such an intelligent, very, your cognitive process is where I'm trying to go, because I'm feeling your brain and it's all over the place. That's what I'm doing. There's nothing wrong with your brain. It's simply that you're very focused on using your brain to manage everything, manage your environments, which means there's a lot of electrical activity, a lot of nervous activity. So you could really benefit from what I would believe would be some mindfulness, peace, meditation, and quiet time. I'm not sure if you get that in your life. Have you got kids?
No.
Okay, that's going to help. Have quiet time.
Definitely.
But I really feel like you're too busy with your mind a lot. So which is, you've got tension down through your neck, it radiates down through the base of your neck, so the base of your skull, right down through your neck, down through your shoulders. So there's a lot of tension there. Are you moving your body? Because it feels like there's a lot of stiffness through your back as well. There's a lot of your back's holding a lot of tension.
I'm not feeling it so much in my back, but definitely in my left shoulder, between the neck and the shoulder.
Yeah, to me it's burning like a light. It's like it's inflamed. So there are some foods that are really great, like turmeric, magnesium, if you haven't considered those, or if you need to talk to your health professional about what's right for you, that would be a great choice. Also, your hydration's off too. I would really be very mindful of water. Now, if you are drinking water, you need to add minerals to water to make it work better.
Okay.
I believe that water needs minerals added to it for it to be really absorbent in the body.
Okay.
I think, as you say, yeah, that's just my opinion.
Is there a particular product? I mean, I guess it would be different in Australia than the U.S., but is there a particular product with minerals that you would normally add to water that you maybe recommend?
I actually manufacture my own one. That's why I fell in love with minerals. So I actually manufacture one. I get it out of Austria, but I bottle it here in Australia. It's made from a decayed rainforest called Black Minerals. But in the US, I believe you have a company called LifeSpring and another one called TJ Clark Minerals in the States.
Okay. Well, I'll look at those.
I just think you're too stressed, mate, is what I'm saying.
Never. That can't be possible.
Not Eric. No.
I think that it's really important that you find an outlet outside of whatever you're doing that's busy in work and life that gives you do you like mountain biking in the country or being in the forest?
Yeah, I like all that stuff.
Yeah, I think that's really great for you. That kind of outdoors environment would be perfect for you, and that peaceful alone time in the walking in nature would be awesome. I also feel like your digestive system's a little sluggish down the lower bowel too. So it's one of the things you can do is that's where exercise can help with that. Can help move the gut muscles. Are you taking a probiotic? Good bacteria.
I am.
Great, cool. I also feel like you might be dairy sensitive as well. There you go.
All right.
Maybe I have to cut down on my ice cream.
Yeah, maybe slightly.
Don't tell the guys at Ben & Jerry's.
Well, thanks for chiming in there, Eric.
Oh, my pleasure.
So Scott, how does it work? Are you actually feeling the sensation, or are you seeing it?
Well, that's why I called myself Sensate, because I mirror unfortunately, that's how it works. I feel people's body pain. I feel like, and then I interpret it. It's like I can mirror and reflect what's happening within people, and that's part of the empathic nature of what I do. Is I started to notice it with clients. I sat next to somebody and I'd feel what's going on. I'd feel their heartbreak. I'd feel their headache. I'd feel their back pain. Fortunately, I don't get it to anywhere the extent of the pain they get, but I still feel pain within my body to understand it.
Right.
Like I could feel Eric's neck and head.
Okay.
I could feel his shoulder, but then I have to interpret it, because sometimes, for example, if it shows up in my right shoulder, it could be the left shoulder for someone. It's interesting how it works, depending on if I'm facing someone, depending which way they're standing, it will reflect differently, a mirror in my body differently.
Okay. So that seems like a lot to take on too. Like, even when you're not working, are you able to turn it off?
Yeah, I can. That's why I have a focus on my swimming at the beach. I focus on riding my bike. I really have a lot of focus on activities which allow me to keep clear and to keep moving out of people's energy. So I can't even go to a rock concert or a show, because I'm standing around 300 people. I go, oh my God, I can feel everything. It's crazy. I can walk into someone and feel like their heart break. Someone's lost a relative, or they've broken up with a loved one, and it's just incredible when I feel what's going on, their sorrow and their pain. And I have to stay absolutely focused not to go into it.
Yeah.
Because I am so sensitive. Like, I can cry at the drop of a hat.
So can I ask you if you can briefly tell us about the self and non-self? Because you can essentially be experiencing something that's not yours, right?
Yeah, this comes into the esoteric side of consciousness, where there are energies, there are beings, there are things which we don't know or can't explain. And this is my interpretation, is that self is this really beautiful, peaceful knowing that's just you. It's like that song that comes on the radio that makes you feel invincible. That's that state of being which is just this essence of nothing can touch you. And now we have a non-self, which are things which make you feel fear, which make you shrink, contract, which go into guilt, shame. And it's basically non-expansive. It's contracting. So the difference between self and non-self, one's expansive, one isn't.
Okay.
One's everything you don't want.
All right. Okay. Well, thanks for that. Well, we're going to have to take another quick break, so everyone stick around for more Love from the Hip.
Microneedling is a revolutionary treatment that can help reduce the appearance of acne scars, fine lines, pigmentation, wrinkles, even improve the appearance of stretch marks by stimulating collagen and elastin. Sakura Skin and Mind specializes in this procedure that jumpstarts your body's natural healing process. Sakura Skin and Mind believes in not only keeping the skin up to date with the latest trends in the skincare industry, but also keeping the skin beautiful, fast, pretty, painless, and affordable. Find out more at sakuraskinandmind.com. SAKURA skinandmind.com.
Post-traumatic stress syndrome affects people from all walks of life, triggered by sexual assault, traffic, collisions, warfare, or other threats to life. PTSD is a killer. Every day, an average of 22 veterans commit suicide due in part to PTSD. Retired U.S. Colonel Debbie Simpson struggled with her own PTSD. Following a military career specializing in critical care, Debbie turned to dancing as a way to heal unresolved grief, guilt, and shame caused by the losses of war. The benefits were so great that she founded the nonprofit Battlefield to Ballroom, a unique approach to assisting other brave warriors. Battlefield to Ballroom has partnered with famed dance company Arthur Murray International to help veterans in need. If you or someone you know can benefit, log on now to battlefieldtoballroom.org. That's Battlefield, the number 2, ballroom.org. Life is a dance, and you can give the gift of the first steps towards recovery. Donate at battlefieldtoballroom.org today.
Did you know that your skin is your body's first defense against disease and infection? Briotech knows and has developed their topical skin spray to enhance your skin's natural healing responses and defenses. Briotech is all about providing its customers products that help promote skin wellness. Briotech Topical Skin Spray is a light misting spray free of added fragrance, oil, alcohol, and parabens. All this protection without clogging your pores. It's a must addition to your all-around daily skincare regimen. Try Briotech, a collection of sprayers from 2 ounces to 8 ounces. With this bundle, you can have Briotech Topical Skin Spray wherever life takes you. All natural and safe to use from head to toe. Irritations, redness, post-procedure sensitivities? Get Briotech Topical Skin Spray today. Years in the making, doctor recommended, and available through Amazon. Learn more at briotechusa.com. That's BRIOTECHUSA.com. Support your skin at briotechusa.com.
Want a more youthful figure no matter what age? Find answers at Madsen Medical Spa. Allow doctors Aaron and Paul to help you eliminate your frustration with weight management. Say no to yo-yo, diets, and exhausting exercise grinds. Madsen Medical Spa will do the heavy lifting for you and coach you all the way through to your ideal weight. We offer the latest and greatest in body sculpting and body contouring lasers and devices, high-quality nutritional supplements and meal replacements, as well as mindful practices. We will treat the inside to treat the outside, and it's all personally tailored for you. Men and women, drop inches, not just pounds, and see a healthy, beautiful you. Consultations are free. Results are priceless. Log on to MadsenMedSpa.com. That's MADSEN Medspa.com. Or call 425-656-8008. That's 425-656-8008. Get the shape you want this summer. Become a healthier, more beautiful you.
Multicultural, multidimensional even. Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back to Love from the Hip. I'm spiritual hypnotherapist, master esthetician, and your host, Sakura Sutter. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook and subscribe to my YouTube channel and my podcast on Podcast One, Love from the Hip, and that's HYP. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing Scott Collins. He is a naturopath sensate where natural medicine meets consciousness. So, Scott, we've got Carla on the line from Seattle. Let's go ahead and take Carla. Carla?
Hi.
Hi there. Thanks for calling in today.
No, thank you for taking my call.
Yeah. What's your question for Scott?
Well, I was just wondering if he could maybe give me some insight. I seem to have some sort of a rogue infection that has been making the rounds of my body in the last 6 months. And I go to the doctor. They put me on antibiotics. It will go away for a week or so, maybe 2 weeks, and then it pops up someplace else. And it's just I've been on so many antibiotics lately that I'm starting to actually have an allergic reaction to them.
Right. Wow, that's insane. The first thing that I felt when I picked up you, I just wanted to start crying.
Okay.
I just really wanted to go into a deep emotional crying, and I really felt a lot of conflict within yourself.
Yeah.
So my thoughts are that your body is creating a toxic environment from which the bacteria are thriving. So it's time for a major cleanup in your whole world, like how you're doing life, how you think about self. I don't know why, but I just want to cry with you. It's like this unresolved crying or pain within you. That's the most predominant thing I'm getting. And I think that's changing your environment. So what I'm getting at, when your nervous system is cooked or overactive, you've got a lot of stuff going on, you can't get answers. It puts a lot of pressure on how your body functions, and your immune system weakens, your digestive system shuts down, you don't absorb nutrients really well. So I've suggested if you work with a local nutritionist or someone who does dietetics, that you could talk about going into a smoothie-based diet, having a lot more like superfoods like spirulina, maybe not spirulina, green barley, wheatgrass, those kind of blood cleansers.
Okay.
And also address your adrenal stress. You're a very stressed individual.
Yeah, I know.
But don't lose sight of how
that
beautiful
way.
and amazing you are. You have a massive heart. Your heart is huge. Like you have a glowing, big gift of a heart to give to the world. So don't forget that. Come back to you and find the things that are important to you. Start to clean up your environment. Really be conscious of your foods. Drink lots of fresh, clean, filtered water. And really speak to someone who can put you on a really strong nutrition program, because I think that will help. And there's a product in the States that you can get called alpha hydroxy. You may want to talk to me afterwards or contact me about this, but it's an effective supplement that has lots of research on it for being antibacterial as opposed to antibiotics. But it's again, you'll have to look into what's available in the US, but we have it here in the States, in Australia, but it comes from the States.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks, Carla.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.
So, Scott, how does a typical session go with your clients?
It starts as an exploration of where they are and what's going on. And we look at, we tune into the consciousness. We start to look at what's really the backbone of where they're at. What's the main symptoms presenting? What's going on? And then we kind of like unraveling the ball of string. We want to get to the core of what's the issue. So that will be some consciousness work, but it'll also have a nutritional foundation. It will also have a supplement foundation. It'll have a strategy that builds both worlds together, and some things that they can do, some tools that they can employ in their life to, like with Carla, with the nervous system, that she can actually use some tools to chill out how she's thinking and actually get back into her body, start to focus on what brings her joy, start to look at where the constructs of relationships are. And like, for example, we all have different ways in which we approach different people. Oh, I can't talk to her with that because she'll react this way. I can't go to mum because mum's going to go, oh, and give me grief. So we have all these different constructs of how we do life. So when we start to break all these constructs down and release all these identities of who we think we are and how we are to the world, we start to create freedom within ourselves. So that's one of the tools. And the stillness tool that I use a breathing tool. I also use an awareness tool that shows people actually what's theirs and what's not theirs. So it really is just a skills session with a nutritional foundation that people become self-empowered and self-aware with their own abilities. And my job, if I do it correctly, means they become educated. They don't need me. They become self-empowered.
That's awesome. So you don't want to see them again, essentially.
I do, but I want to see them if they can't get through it.
Right.
Right. Self mastery is really the core of this. It's like nutrition, diet, exercise, spiritual world, the joy. There's all these things that come together to bring us completeness, but we only do a fraction of what's possible.
Okay. Yeah. So how can my listeners book a session with you or follow you?
They can head to scottcollins.com.au. And there's to book a session, and they can follow me on Instagram as Scott Collins Medical Medium. I might actually have changed it. It's Scott Collins Naturopath Medium.
Okay.
So, and then Facebook, you can just search Scott Collins Naturopath, and you'll find me quite quickly.
Awesome. Do you have one final message for my listeners today?
Bring joy into your life. Bring that creative essence of joy in, where you're not expressing your stuff. Start to become expressive, where you've wanted to paint, where you've wanted to dance, where you've wanted to sing. Now the time's to do it. Stop making excuses for not being joyful.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for joining us today.
You're welcome. It was absolutely fun. I love your show. I love how you do your show. It's incredible.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. And thank you, Eric, my fabulous producer. And thanks for participating, Eric. And you, the listener, you can find me at lovefromthehip.com or sakuraskinandmind.com. You can also follow me on Instagram or on Facebook and subscribe to my YouTube channel as well as my podcast on Podcast One, Love from the Hip, and that's HYP. And if you really love the show and are interested in running an ad for your own business or have any questions or comments, feel free to email me at sakura@lovefromthehip.com. Tune in next Wednesday at 2 p.m. for another Love from the Hip and make self-love contagious. Go ahead, I dare ya.